everybody. How y'all doing? I'm Julian, CEO of Unifi. I am here today to spend a little bit of time on Unifi Talks with Aggroed from Splinterlands. He's the CEO and founder. Super excited to sit down and talk a little bit about his perspective on blockchain and gaming, Web3, where things are going. So without further ado, welcome Aggroed.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Hey man, great to see you again. Yeah, we've known each other for a couple of years. There's not a lot of people in the space that have been around for, 4 years seems like kind of like a lifetime in this space. So it's pretty cool to see you again.
We're one of the first gaming projects out there. So we got started in 2018, and there's not many people that can say that for NFTs and DeFi. There wasn't a lot that existed.
Yeah, man. I know you guys were getting started in that space like before a lot of these terms were even in pop culture today, and now NFTs, DAOs, that whole thing, it's going nuts.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to watch the growth of the space and just see so many new people and so many big companies entering. And it's a challenging space, but I welcome all in here. And I really think that what I've always hoped to provide to the people that are part of our ecosystem is peace, prosperity, and freedom. And I don't think that there's any tool that does it better than cryptocurrency in the world. And so when I see all these other projects and things getting going, I just want to give them virtual high fives and be like, all right, let's all kick some butt together and make the world a better place.
Yeah, exactly, man. Right. It's like, you have to consider, I was just talking to somebody from a trade association within crypto, and you have to think about it to some extent. We're kind of all here like in this together. And when somebody comes in and is not an upstanding player, has the same mindset of like where this space should go and the importance of these things, it kind of hurts us all, right? Like rising tide raises all ships. And yeah, man, I feel you. Like, it's not too often you encounter people that have been around for this long.
So yeah, it's hard. Honestly, it's hard work, to manage being here, because I've watched so many projects just come and go. I think of ones like EOS Nights, the like Polygon Sunflowers just comes and they take off for a bit, but it's hard to keep your economy balanced. It's hard to keep your servers working. It's hard to keep that project aligned. It's hard to keep your community from melting down. Like the first time there's any kind of dip in prices, like all that stuff is hard. So, kudos to the guys that are making it. We've been here for 4 years, and that's a rare accomplishment, but we're not the only ones. But it's good to be here in this space, and honestly, it's just good to see it growing so much.
Yeah, right. It's there's like it shows a lot, right? Because to be around for like 4 years through through the last highs of crypto, through crypto winter, through staking being the main force in crypto, to DeFi being the main force in crypto, and now NFTs, DAO, like more and more things changing. Gaming has always been a promise of like Web3 technology, and it's always been this huge concept on the horizon of where things could go, and very few people have been through that history. So, why don't you give us a quick rundown on what you guys are doing? Your kind of journey through the space and how that's all been for you and where you're at today.
Yeah, well, we got started. The journey is weird, man. Like doing stuff on blockchain, there's challenges everywhere. So we got started on the Steem blockchain. So people might know Steem from the blogging platform Steemit. And so Matt and I started just working together on like a little Steemit blog, like promotion tool. And then at the end of one of those conversations, we were sitting around, and even like CryptoKitties made it, I think, to the news in the restaurant that we were in. And they were talking about how like CryptoKitties were booming, and he and I started talking about it. And at the end of that conversation, he said, "No, what we really ought to do is make a game." And as that conversation progressed, a couple things came to mind of like, yes, we should. NFTs are amazing. This is like an absolute milestone in terms of like a new class. It's like a digital asset in ways that things didn't exist like that before. and we want it to be first. It needed to have a lot of utility. And the other thing about it was that we didn't want to build on Ethereum. We looked at Ethereum and we said, hey, look, these gas prices are high. It's gonna make it really difficult for projects to be successful here. And there are certainly some projects that have made an enormous amount of money being on Ethereum, but there's also a lot of struggle to get regular high volume usage. I don't see a whole lot of stuff that is doing, like currently we're doing 3 to 5 million transactions per day on chain. Like the entire Ethereum layer 1 does something like 1.2 million transactions. So it's tricky to scale these things. And honestly, I think that's the hardest problem in the entire tech of like, how do you scale? Because what we want to do is get crypto to as many people as possible. That's the mission of this company. We think that'll change the world, and gaming is really the most tangible way to do it. And we think we have a technology that's really good. You come in, you sign up with a username and a password, you swipe a credit card, and off you go. And we've been able to go on board, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people into crypto and get them going. And it's fun because you like start, you're just playing this game and you're collecting a card here or there. And then like a couple months later, you're like, holy crap, my account's worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. How did this happen? And then you start learning about keys, and you start learning about password management. You start learning about how to protect your assets, and you start learning more about blockchain in the process of doing that. But I think a lot of this started back then. Just in that little restaurant saying we should make a game, and we want it to be. We don't just want collectibles. We want collectibles with utility. We want something more concrete than what CryptoKitties offered. And so they were pioneers, don't get me wrong, but we were just thinking like, what else can you do with this technology? And we keep trying to push it, like we're building in a bunch of governance into the game. So we launched the SBS token, and it's a governance token, and we're still hammering out some of the details of this, but we basically just want our entire community we want to be like the first truly decentralized game that's out there, the first decentralized video game in the world. So if this all comes to pass, then like you'll be running Splinterlands nodes, and you'll be operating the Splinterlands game, and like we'll be developers and lead developers and continue to work with this ecosystem. But we want to hand it over to the players. We really think that's something life changing too, and so hopefully we're able to go facilitate that. But we're all about trying to get as much control into the players' hands, and to people that are staking, and to the people that own this token, and for them to feel like this is theirs. And we are a facilitator. We help. Mm-hmm. This is important, and this is our home and our community. But that said, we want it to be like the players own and feel like they own this game.
Yeah, man, that's so cool, and it's so refreshing to hear. I'm sure you do too. We talk to a lot of people in this space, and I think like there's this mindset of like, oh, I have to build the final version of my thing and launch that. And if it works, it's great. And if it doesn't,
do that.
Oh, okay, it's gone. Yeah, exactly.
That's horrible. Right? Don't do that. You got to do that in like the free-to-play world where you have like 50,000 competitors to you.
Yeah.
But this is crypto. You get like a project that like has its first functioning game loop. Like it's still probably pretty novel to get that out because blockchain's so damn hard. Go launch, go push, like MVP and go and keep adding.
Yeah, man. If there's one like true north of this industry, it's change, right? Like it's been through so many fundamental, monumental shifts. I remember there were like whole blockchains whose like primary function was as an exchange. That's what they were, the exchange blockchain. And it's like, it's just so funny to think like, okay, like that was an interesting idea at the time, but that was in the past. In the future is coming up very quickly. And the true north here has been like change is coming, and you need to be an adaptable team. And the most adaptable teams come out because they've been around the longest, which you guys have.
I mean, the other part of that is that it's like one day you're drinking from the fire hose, and the next day you're like starving to death. This is it's such a weird industry, and it's like testing the extremes of your business. Of can you survive the crypto winter, Well, what about a 10x growth in the next 4 months? How do you deal with that? And it's just, this space has been shockingly difficult to
Yeah.
build in. And to like maintain it. Again, I just watch all these projects come and go, and they promise the world, and then they raise a bunch of money, and they don't necessarily do anything. And I've watched them come, I watched them go, and I'm just trying to deliver for my community. Here's another set of features. Here's another game mode. Here's another cool invention that we're going to put into this game and into this space. Here's more control for the players, and balancing the economy and balancing the needs and growing the business and making partnerships that whole time. Like that's a challenge.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I've been talking to a lot of people about DAOs recently and kind of that state. And a lot of people want to go kind of all into this concept of DAO, like as their first venture into a decentralized community. And that's challenging because, like what exactly does that mean? What kind of control does that mean to give up and kind of shift into? I know you guys are constantly pushing on trying to like decentralize. What do you think about that direction as like a DAO? What do you think that looks like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we want our game to be more like a DAO. We built the DAO into the white paper, and it's the right way to go. But you're right; it's also a hard way to start. Like that's the kind of thing that I think you guys morph into, rather than hey, I'm here for 5 days. Now I'm a crypto expert. Let's go do DAOs. I mean, like that feels like a great way to make a crappy DAO. You kind of have to like get embedded into the community, find out what they care about, understand the incentives, the morality, the cares and the passions of your community, and then you need the DAO to sort of reflect that. And it's hard to get that right if you're a noob. I mean, like some of what I get excited for are all the like big announcements of the different companies that want to come into the blockchain space, and then I just think about like how you're going to have some giant Fortune 500 company that's going to be sitting there being like, okay, today we're going to have a discussion. It's a lunch and learn, and we're going to learn about the Bitcoin white paper, and we're going to learn about Satoshi Nakamoto. And I just like I have so much of a hard time seeing that really happening. But that's like step one for them to be able to build reward pools and actually build games and have a system of earning. Like you need that same basic level of understanding of blockchain. And so many of these games that exist that are free to play are just like dopamine hits. Play this, win that. Whoa, yay, excitement! But you can't just like infinitely hand things out in blockchain. So you actually have to have like a game loop that has prizes that are a little bit conservative. And how do you build that? And how do you build that for an audience that's scaling from, I only have 10 people in here to now I have 10 million people in here. Like how does your reward system change over that time? How do you accommodate the new people and what's it look like? And all of that has to be these like complicated philosophical and economic mathematical discussions that you have at like a board level. And I just don't know. Part of me is just laughing as I'm thinking about like, the Facebooks of the world coming on in, being like, we're going to take this space over. And it's like, you probably don't even know how to write the white paper.
Yeah.
Read that. You don't even know like half the vocab. Who knows? Maybe they all got it, and maybe I'll be wrong and I'll eat some humble pie. But I mostly think that, if some crypto natives have a hard time building good projects and sustaining them, I think, the corporations of the last 30, 40 years are going to struggle with this thing too.
I don't think that a lot of companies in the traditional tech space have dealt with a decentralized community before, like a community of people that can act anonymously or privately, act as a DAO, have a voice, choose not to do whatever they want to do. Not a lot of people have actually had to interact with those kinds of communities before, and they're totally different. They're totally different. Like somebody's not going to go into an Apple store and just start slamming shut laptop to laptop, going, "This sucks. I hate everybody." That's not going to happen,
I mean, it does on the very rare case, right? You hear about a couple of the crazies, but now it's like, now it's not the like fringe crazies that do that. It's like somebody that lost 15 cents on a trade and like, hey, I owned your token and it went down. Well, like crypto goes up, it goes down, and that's some of the risk, but Like that doesn't mean that we're all scammers. It doesn't mean that we stopped building. It doesn't mean that like the founders dumped every share that they ever owned. There's like market forces that are at play, and we just try to do the best we can. But it's when you it's that like multifaceted piece of they own this asset, and this asset might be, even if it's $100, it might be like the majority of their investment or something like that. So it means so much to so many people. And, they can be like triumphant fighters and talk about you on social media all the time and help your project spread. And they can also get sour and like sit there and troll nonstop every single day in a Discord. I mean, I like you look at like some of the troll responses now for like the Web 2.0 stuff. And, I just don't know how they're going to manage breaking the fourth wall and like having a Discord with something like 4 million people that follow their product, that drink their product, that use their product, that does the thing. And they're sitting there, complaining about, your policies in third worlds of how you actually generate this project are disgusting. And then they're like sitting there reading that feedback day in, day out like that. I don't know. I don't know how these companies are going to make the shift or the transition from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0.
Yeah, I don't think that it's the same kind of company. It's like that's I mean, maybe that's a shift that companies can make, but I don't think we've seen one ever make that. I can't think of a company that's done that yet, because a lot of the companies that come out here as successful, though they kind of move into more or less this DAO direction to some extent, we're operating as a DAO since day one. Because if you continue to do what you say you're going to do, you stick with it, you're more successful. And if you don't, you tend to fade into obscurity. So to some extent, it kind of is a decentralized organization, because your success is based off of how that community responds to you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So it didn't take me long to realize that like my most passionate guys that were complaining are not like the deathbed of my organization. They're like the lifeblood. Like the people that are complaining actually really care about the product, and that's a mindset. Like I think in like Web 2.0, it's shut up, customer. I've had enough of your crap. And in Web 3.0, it's really got to be like, thank you for providing this valuable feedback. Let's see what we can do as an organization to adjust to the concerns that you have. Because otherwise, like you say, when you're in Web 3.0, there's a lot of things fighting for your attention. People will walk. And if you're not like pretty attentive to what the user base needs, the guys just kind of wander off.
Yeah, man. I mean, like most of our team today came out of those people. There were people that were saying, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you should change this. And then just responding and having this really positive public conversation. And those most outspoken people are part of the team now, because they're investing time and energy into giving you feedback, and that's pretty much the only tangible cost that somebody can incur is like that. They're investing time into you. Like, it's such a shame when you see people go, I'm shutting down my room because of this, and it's like, what are you doing? You're just like taking all of that energy and effort and you're just saying, I don't want it. I don't need you. And that's kind of not what's true of our space. Is we're not like, I don't need you, I can walk away. We need the community as support. We need to onboard new people like you've talked about and bring new people into crypto space, the crypto space, teach them how to be a part of a community, how to voice their feedback, how when they say something and they identify it, an issue or a potential change or opportunity, a company can react to it and be more successful because of it. It's a cool, organic, much more organic style organization than a traditional Web 2. Super cool. Super. So I mean, look, I know that you guys have been through a lot in the last 4 years since we first started talking. I know there have been some pretty cool partnerships and things like that coming up fairly recently. You want to tell us a little bit about that? It sounds exciting.
Yeah, so we did a music drop, or we found a rapper. His name is Waka Flocka. Some people recognize that name. Not everybody does, but he's been around for like 15, 20 years. That's like back in the high school days. I think I remember listening to him. So anyways, we got approached by a third-party company, started working on this, and we just did a promotional card that you could get that was called Waka Spirit Blade, and it's based off of Waka Flocka. And they did this crazy thing where they made a mask, and it was like a Snapchat filter, and we had our card in the game. We had our card available through Atomic Hub on the Wax blockchain, and we did this crazy drop. And the first part of this thing sold out in under 30 seconds. So it shows me that we're hitting a nerve by like kind of combining influencers and mainstream artists and putting that with some crypto gaming. Like the audience is really there for that. So the other piece that we were looking at or that we announced recently is that we're doing a partnership with Warner Music, and they're like top 30. They own like a 35% market share of the top artists in the United States. They're like a giant company, and they're investing in blockchain space. They're building projects, and the exact details of everything we're doing is still a little bit hush hush. But we just announcing our intention to work together, and for us, it's really exciting to have this big legacy business that has music and entertainers, and for them, they've aggregated this audience, but it can be pretty hard to monetize, and there's a lot of pathways through NFTs and blockchain that allow you to do that. But doing that is really hard. I mean, that was like the first part of this whole talk, is that blockchain stuff is hard, and that getting it right and not screwing it up. And when you're like screwing it up with like brands that have been around for 20 years or bands that have been around for 20 years, you don't want to like ruin your reputation doing some cash grab NFT thing that fails. So you want a project that's successful, that brings something new. And so they wanted to work with us so that we could build a game that's entertaining, that's fun, that's rewarding, that's valuable, and matches their brand of not just here's a cash grab, but here's something that is rewarding, fun to play, and involves their superstar cast of musicians.
Cool, man. That sounds awesome. It's kind of like the dream, right? To kind of be that conduit for how these traditional type of companies come in, start to interface with the Web3, and it kind of sounds like that's been your main driver through the life of this, is being a conduit into Web3 technology for anybody that wants to get involved from a gaming side, and doing that for companies. That's kind of like that's fantastic, man.
That's the dream. That's the mission. The mission is to onboard as many people into crypto as possible.
Exactly.
And gaming is the super highway to do it. And what you need are the like people that have already aggregated big groups. And the musicians have done that. The entertainers have done that. The like sports brands have done that. So those are kind of the three big groups that we're targeting to go work with those folks and bring their audience, bring their fan base, bring their community with them, so that we can get everybody, here's your blockchain wallet address, here's your blockchain username, and welcome to Web 3.0, fellas.
It's awesome. So, I mean, look, it's been super cool to talk, man. This has been a great conversation, super refreshing to talk to somebody that's been in the space for as long as you guys have. Before I kind of wrap us up here, is there anything you want to, any upcoming features, news, things like that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, we did a land sale not that long ago. We've been putting together our product teams to try to speed that out. So land should be here before too long. We've gotten so many different, we sold out of 5, maybe 6 different card editions now. So we're over halfway through our current edition, which is called Chaos Legion. So for folks that are still looking for packs and being able to engage and play with us, that's a place to do that. But we've created so many cards now that we're trying to divide it to still make it affordable for new players to join the ecosystem. So we'll have like a modern format and a wild format. The modern format has fewer cards that are necessary to participate and be competitive, and that way it's a little bit less expensive for new people. So we have kind of different game modes coming out. We have the whole different play styles coming out. We have these partnerships coming out. I mean, I think Splinterlands is a company to keep your eye on over the next year.
Yeah, man. It sounds like dude, just based off of your kind of mission, where where you want to be, the ethos of you guys, I'd say for that alone, it's worth keeping an eye on. And, you know, you tie that in with gaming and your success there. It's freaking awesome, dude. That sounds great.
Thanks,
so thank you so much, man, for coming on. I really appreciate the talk. Super positive. So everybody out there, follow and check out Splinterlands. And yeah, looking forward to talking to you all soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Julian.
Bye.
Bye.